what a game I was at against the Rangers, winning 10-2, doing something that the Boston Bruins haven't done since 1964, which is have two players score a hat trick in the same game. It was insane. It was awesome. Really fun atmosphere, really fun to watch. Obviously, it's Bruins are a great time no matter what. But the one thing, a couple of things I want to talk about first is, of course, Zdeno Chara got his number retired, which I thought was awesome and absolutely deserved it. He was here with the Boston Bruins for 14 years, and he was the leader, the captain. He was fantastic. Led us to 3 Stanley Cup appearances, won 1, which we still should have won 2. I swear to God, Jordan Binnington sold his soul to win that one in 19. That's a whole different story, though. All right, moving on. The one thing I do want to say, as great as that ceremony was, as great as Andrew Ferentz as the MC, having a lot of people in the building. I can't believe Willie O'Ree showed up. That was really cool to see because his number should have been retired a long time ago. But they finally did it a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, he was dealing with some health issues. COVID was still a thing, so he couldn't fly out to see it personally. But he was there for the Chara induction. Fantastic. But as much as I have come on this show a number of times and railed against Don Sweeney and Cam Neely for the poor drafting, the bad trades, the bad, calls that they made in terms of trading Allmark to then, give in to Swayman's demands at 8 and 8 1/4. I thought that us booing them when they were introduced, when Chara thanked them personally, I thought was over the line. I didn't like that. I thought that, listen, as much as I can't stand them sometimes, and I will say it, I will be very verbal about it. I didn't think when Chara wanted to thank them, I thought it was a little tasteless, a little classless of us to bash Cam Neely, or boo Cam Neely and Don Sweeney like that. Because that's where I was looking at it going, come on. I get it. We don't like them. But Chara was thanking them in his speech. There's no need for that. If they were being introduced, like being walked out like Cam Neely was walking out onto the ice prior, okay, then fine. Boo him there. But the fact that the man of the hour is thanking them and you're booing them, to me, I felt like that was a little classless. And I thought that we're better than that. You didn't have to cheer for them. That's fine. Don't cheer. I'm not saying that you should cheer. I'm just saying, when Chara was talking, I didn't think you needed that. I thought you went a little too far. And again, it was only boo, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm not trying to make it a huge thing. I'm just saying, I thought it was a little classless. But the other part of that, I got me thinking, is who from this era deserves to have their number raised? Obviously, it's Chara. Obviously, it's Bergeron. And then I think there are really only 2 other guys that you can raise to the rafters. Or no, excuse me, not 2 other guys. I think there is 2 guys that are probably worth the biggest discussion over. Because Lucic is not a guy you raise into the rafters. Tuukka's not a guy you raise into the rafters. Timmy Thomas, no. Seidenberg, no. Boychuk, no. Like, so many guys. Ferentz, love him. The bird to Montreal, fantastic. But he's not a rafter guy. it's really between, I think, Brad Marchand and David Krejci. Now, I have heard the argument for Krejci. I have heard the argument for Marchand. And I've heard the argument for neither, which I found probably the most interesting of the three. Ultimately, though, if I had to pick, I would have to go with Brad. I think Brad Marchand should have his number retired before David Krejci. Do I think it'll happen? Nah, maybe. But I thought that, the Bruins did the right thing in trading him. And we helped his ass out by sending him to friggin' Florida. So let's not, forget that. Then he did the one thing that I was very thankful for, which was he didn't sign with the Maple Leafs. If he signed with the Maple Leafs, I would have been so pissed. Would have absolutely lost it. But he stayed in Florida, which I don't mind. Again, Florida's not a team I really care about, that much in that way. Toronto, I care about. Montreal, I care about. New York, how can you not? It's friggin' New York. Florida, listen, they're getting their 15 minutes of fame, and that's it. Okay? Yeah, they'll win their couple cups. Big deal. But you know what? The rivalry between Boston and Florida, yes, as I've said before, they took down our best team ever. Yes, it stung. It hurt. It sucked. Not going to lie to you. But I just don't see it the way I see Montreal, the way I see Toronto. I look at Florida like they still have a hard time selling out their stadium. They're a joke of a franchise. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I got no problem with it. Like I said, they have their 15 minutes. It's going to be fine. And then within the next 3 years, they're gone. They're irrelevant again. All right? I mean, hell, they're dealing with a lot of crap right now because Bobrovsky freaking sucks. It was actually kind of funny. Bobrovsky did get he got into a fight last night. He actually came out. But Florida, as it stands right now, is second to last in the Atlantic Division. They are out of the playoffs entirely right now. So, if you hold a grudge against Marchand because he's playing for the Panthers, not for nothing, get over it. Because we did him a favor. We gave him the opportunity to win his second cup. And again, I know it sucks. He's not winning with us. I would have loved to have him win with us, play his career out here, and we're good. We're golden. But that's just not how it happened. We did the right thing. We got a future first-round pick out of it. Because we still need to sell. And that brings me to the next point is right now we're the number one wildcard team, number one wildcard seed in the playoffs. We're fourth in the Atlantic Division. And right now, of course, we're down 2-0 to the frickin' Stars in Dallas. But this team has played a lot better. Has played a lot better than the last time I talked about the Bruins where they were trash, where they were second to last. And by point recognition, should have been last in the Atlantic Division. But we're such a fringe team right now that I still think we need to sell when it comes to the deadline. This time, we don't need to sell off major pieces. But I think if we could find a few ways to get some of these guys, like if we could sell off Victor Arvidsson, if we could sell off a couple of these pieces, listen, they're good players. They've helped us out this season. No two ways about it. but I'm looking for the future. I'm not. It's not that I want to tank, but I think that this team is still not ready. And I know that the point is, oh well, getting the experience, that's how they'll be ready. Facts. They just have to play. They have to get the experience in order to be ready. I get that. But there's still things and moves that this team still needs to do in order to finally get over that hump to be a legit playoff contender. Again. And I feel like if we can sell at this trade deadline, which is coming up in March, we sell off here, we draft well, I think we have an opportunity to rebound and get going next year. I think our young guys, I love Fraser Mitten, I love Marat Nustadinov, all these guys who are coming up, making their game known. They're a lot of fun to watch, and this team is a fun team to watch. I'm not denying that. I'm just having a hard time wanting to sell out for this team right now. Wanting to sell out for this playoff run. We've already got several high picks based on what's been going on in the league already because of the trades that we made last year. Hell, we got a first round pick that's top 10 protected or top 6 protected from Toronto. And right now, Toronto is 3rd in the Atlantic. Like, they're sitting pretty where we can just slide in and just be like, thank you. And then have 2 first round picks. So I'm enjoying this. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be a great game. Great game. Jeez, I'm thinking AFC Championship. But I like the Bruins. I think they're a lot of fun to watch. And I like the trajectory that we're on right now. But in order for us to be that legit contender, I think as long as we keep our picks, we make a few sales at the trade deadline, maybe acquire a few more picks this year, next year, and that, then we can move on next year, and that's when we can really just come back. Bam. 2 years, no playoffs. Okay, it sucks. I get it, but we're ready to go. This is the time.